Of the people of Puerto Rico, Island Guide proudly welcomes you to our colorful, beautiful paradise in the Caribbean. The locals call their native grounds La Isla del Encanto, the island of enchantment, and you will soon know why.
This channel gives you an insight into the history and culture of Puerto Rico and shows you the best places to go. Get to know the stunning nature and discover all the typical sights and sounds. We will show you all there is to experience in a quick and entertaining way.
Sit back and enjoy Island Guide in your hotel room, or download the free Island Guide mobile app and make the most of your vacation on the go. With this free app, you will also get a free personalized digital postcard to share your best moments with family and friends back home. Want to know more about this free mobile app or something you saw in this program? Go to our website for more information and various contact details.
Puerto Rico is located in the Caribbean, about 1,000 miles southeast of Miami. It is the most eastern island of the Greater Antilles. The island is in between two oceans, the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean. Puerto Rico is almost rectangular in shape, approximately 100 miles long and 35 miles wide, and consists of a main island and several smaller islands. Puerto Rico is the fourth largest island in the Caribbean.
Since 1917, Puerto Rico is so-called unincorporated territory of the United States. This makes Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens, and consequently they can travel to the States. It also means that people from the States can move to Puerto Rico freely. Unincorporated territory means that Puerto Rico is not a state of the U.S. For that matter, Puerto Ricans cannot take part in presidential elections.
Because of its location, Puerto Rico falls into the tropical climate zone. Characteristics of this type of climate include minuscule seasonal variations and high relative humidity, about 80% throughout the year. The island enjoys an average temperature of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that lightweight clothing is appropriate year-round. Although Puerto Rico's rainy season is not as pronounced as that of many other tropical islands, more rain occurs during the period from May to November. This coincides with the Atlantic hurricane season. However, direct hits rarely occur. The official name of the island is Puerto Rico, but locals call it Borinquen. This is the name the indigenous Taínos people gave their place of birth. The Taínos were the original inhabitants of the island.
If you want to know more about the first inhabitants of Puerto Rico, visit Caguana Ceremonial Indigenous Heritage Center. Borinquen was discovered by the explorer Columbus. When he first arrived to the island in 1493, Puerto Rico was populated by the indigenous Taíno people. Columbus originally named the island San Juan Bautista, but thanks to the gold in the river, it was soon known as Puerto Rico, or Rich Port. In the municipality of Arecibo, you can find an enormous statue of Columbus called the Birth of the New World. Built in 2016, this is the second tallest statue in this hemisphere.
With the Spaniards in charge, Puerto Rico began to produce cattle, sugarcane, coffee, and tobacco, which led to the importation of slaves from Africa. As a result, Puerto Rican bloodlines and culture evolved through a mixing of Spanish, African, and Taíno people.
Over the years, numerous unsuccessful attempts have been made by the French, the Dutch, and the English to conquer the island. Because of these constant attacks, the Spanish constructed forts and ramparts. Many of these constructions can still be found on the island, some well preserved and others less. The biggest fort in San Juan is El Castillo San Felipe del Morro, commonly known as El Morro. It was built in the 16th century and is a World Heritage Site and one of Puerto Rico's most iconic structures.
Puerto Rico remained an overseas province of Spain until the Spanish-American War, when U.S. forces invaded the island with a landing at Guanica. Under the Treaty of Paris of 1898, Spain ceded Puerto Rico to the U.S. Nowadays, Puerto Rico has over 3.5 million inhabitants.
Puerto Ricans love their own culture, and this mix of diverse cultures extends to almost every aspect of Puerto Rican life. Its rich cuisine, its colorful arts and crafts, and its architecture that demonstrates a great variety of traditions, styles, and national influences. And last but certainly not least, the vibrant music called salsa.
Salsa literally means sauce, and this name refers to all the different ingredients that together make this genre into what it is. Salsa was originally developed within the Puerto Rican community of New York and represents an ongoing evolution and assimilation of a variety of styles such as Afro-Caribbean rhythms, Cuban big band dance melodies, and elements of jazz and rock. The dance that comes with it is basically not too difficult. It's a 6-step routine that you will pick up easily.
Although unincorporated territory of the U.S., Spanish is the main language spoken in Puerto Rico. Still, most people also speak English, especially in the coastal areas, so language-wise you will not have any problems. In the rural areas, you might encounter people that speak Spanglish, which is a funny mixture between Spanish and English. One can't argue about taste, but believe us, Puerto Rico's food is the best and most varied in the Caribbean. From trendy dining in San Juan to having a quick bite at the roadside stalls of Guabate, it is all delicious, resulting in the exciting, exotic, and adventurous blend of today's Puerto Rican cuisine. A favorite Puerto Rican dish is the grilled pork.
The heavenly smell of lechon asado, roasted suckling pig, wafts from countless stalls and cozy open-air restaurants. The pig should be roasted for about 6 up to 8 hours. The juicy and lavishly seasoned lechon asado is popular throughout the island, but the best lechon asado you will find in Guavate, located just south of San Juan.
As the largest producer in the world of rum, it is no surprise that Puerto Rico loves the spirit in its many forms, from crystal clear to amber, and from light to complex. Enjoy all kinds and tastes of sipping varieties in bars, or simply enjoy that perennial crowd pleaser, a fruity rum punch. The currency in Puerto Rico is the US dollar, so as a US citizen, you've got everything you need ahead of your trip. ATMs are common in Puerto Rico and are linked to banking networks throughout the world. Credit cards are accepted in most places, and debit cards are also widely accepted.
Overall, Puerto Rico is very mountainous, except for the large coastal areas in the north and the south of the island. Mountains cover about 60% of the territory. The main mountain range is called La Cordillera Central and has its highest peak at 4,390 feet, El Cerro de Punta. The variety that Puerto Rico offers is astonishing, from beautiful beaches to a rainforest, and from rivers and caves to deserts and oceans. Several thousand species of tropical plants grow in Puerto Rico. You will find them all over the island, but especially in El Yunque National Rainforest and the Guanica Commonwealth Forest Reserve. El Yunque National Rainforest is one of Puerto Rico's and the Caribbean's most precious natural resources. It is also the only tropical rainforest in the United States. El Yunque is situated in the northeast of the island and is a thick, emerald green forest covering 28,000 acres. It has peaks that rise up to 3,000 feet. The tropical forest knows a rich flora with tree ferns, orchids, and huge mahogany trees. Whether you're coming to Puerto Rico for a honeymoon or a family vacation, El Yunque National Rainforest is one of the places you have to see.
You can enjoy El Yunque as a morning or afternoon trip, but if you really want to appreciate this amazing ecosystem, you may want to spend an entire day in the misty, lush forest. Walk the trails and cool off in the plunging waterfalls or in the natural pools with crisp spring water.
In the dry southwestern corner of Puerto Rico, you will find cactus and bunch grass. Iguanas and many small lizards abound, and also bats are present. Native to the island is the coqui, a tiny frog that is considered the unofficial mascot of the island. If you want to see the island shine at its best, you should visit one of Puerto Rico's bioluminescent bays. The world knows only a few of them, and Puerto Rico has 3: Laguna Grande, La Parguera, and Mosquito Bay. A kayak ride over one of them will make you feel like you're sailing over stars. Disturbance of the water is necessary to create the magic caused by bioluminescent microorganisms. They are single-celled bacteria and they glow for an instant every 24 hours. There are millions of them in the bay, which allows for the water to glow when it's disturbed. If you want to capture it on camera, use a tripod and take a long exposure shot. capturing thus the millions of tiny millisecond-long glows that make up the fairy-like illumination. San Juan is established in 1521 and is the second oldest European-founded settlement in the Americas and the oldest under U.S. jurisdiction. The capital of Puerto Rico today is known as La Ciudad Amurallada, the Walled City, and is one of the biggest and best natural harbors in the Caribbean. The city combines historical authenticity with pulsating modern energy and is for that reason the most populous and most popular town of the island.
San Juan is far more than a historic site. It is a modern city with evolving neighborhoods such as Santurce and Condado.
Strolling through Old San Juan feels like a journey back in time. The compelling history of the Americas comes alive in full color. Bring comfortable shoes because you will want to walk every cobblestone street. Passing by bright candy-colored houses, you will love to explore the scenic waterfronts, century-old forts, museums, charming plazas, and excellent restaurants. For honeymooners, Old San Juan is the place to be. They'll immerse themselves in the romance of the old city and will find plenty of romantic activities.
The capital offers amenities and entertainment that belong to a metropolis. Galleries, superb restaurants, and a sizzling bar scene that takes over the streets at night.
Old San Juan has several plazas that are worth a visit. The Plaza de San Jose is a favorite meeting place for young and old alike. The Plaza de Armas, Arms Square, is Old San Juan's main square. Spanish troops practice military exercises there, giving the plaza its name. It features 4 statues representing the 4 seasons. They're all over 100 years old. Plaza de Armas was carefully planned as the main city square and has served as a social meeting place for generations. Old San Juan is also rich with churches and chapels. The main attraction is the Catedral de San Juan Cathedral, the second oldest cathedral in the Western Hemisphere. The original cathedral was constructed from wood in 1521. It got destroyed by a hurricane and was rebuilt in 1540.
Near to the cathedral, you will find the San Juan Gate. It was built in the late 1700s and it's the only remaining of many that would close off at night to cut off access to the city and protect the city from invaders. The wall is up to 20 feet thick and up to 40 feet tall. And the first thing you'll notice as you approach the gate is the inscription, Benedictus qui venit in nomine Domini. The verse comes from the Sanctus, a Latin hymn from Catholic liturgy and means, "Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord."
The neighborhoods of Isla Verde and Condado are a convenient option for travelers who want to stay close to the airport, or just want to enjoy vacation with the emphasis on beach and nightlife. Both Isla Verde and Condado have wide, long stretches of beach. Beach-related activities abound in both neighborhoods, but Isla Verde, being further from the city center and constructed later, has more of a suburban feel, with more emphasis on driving and less on walking. Condado feels more like an upscale urban beach neighborhood, and walking is the fastest way to get around to the restaurants, chic bars, and all the shops. Most of the upscale restaurants in Isla Verde are located inside the large hotels, while in Condado, local celebrity chefs run their superb kitchens in independent restaurants. Puerto Rico's East Coast offers beaches fit for families with children and honeymooners seeking for quiet, romantic, dreamy scenes. Although the East Coast is home to many resort communities, you'll find many beaches to be surprisingly quiet and secluded. The East Coast is the portal to Vieques and Culebra, where you'll find the prettiest white sand beaches in the Caribbean. In addition, you can explore the isolated beaches of islets and cays, just a short boat ride from Fajardo. With a little planning, the East Coast offers beach lovers unforgettable adventures.
Luquillo Beach, formerly named El Balneario La Montserrat, is a gorgeous mile-long crescent bay located in the municipality of Luquillo. It is the most popular beach on the East Coast for both locals and tourists. The waters are turquoise and emerald green with a scenic vista of the rainforest mountains sitting behind a lining of thick dancing palm trees. And for the local food, you're also at the right spot. Playa Luquillo offers a strip of bars and restaurants which offer many of Puerto Rico's delicious dishes.
In Fajardo, you can also catch the ferry or air service to the outlying islands of Vieques and Culebra. Separated from the mainland of Puerto Rico by a 7-mile stretch of choppy blue water, the two Caribbean pearls of Culebra and Vieques have an irresistible charm, thanks to friendly locals, laid-back expats, and itinerant sailors. There are places in the world that seem to have been sprinkled with special qualities unfound anywhere else on the planet. The tiny island of Culebra is one of those places. Culebra offers the solitude and tranquility of a place that, even though it's not far, it certainly feels like a world away. Culebra has many beautiful beaches, including Flamenco Beach, Playa Flamenco. Often mentioned as the best beach in the world, it can be reached by shuttle buses from the harbor. The beach extends for a mile with white coral sand and is framed beautifully by arid tree-covered hills. Vieques has become a popular beach resort with small upper-end hotels and restaurants. It is one of the few islands in the Caribbean with dozens of undeveloped beach coves where one can experience the true meaning of tropical bliss. Isla de Vieques is one of the last destinations that is like the Caribbean of the past. Quiet, lush, uncrowded, uncrowned, with unmatched natural beauty. There are no traffic lights and the narrow roads will lead to breathtaking scenic spots, charming colorful towns, and beaches naturally landscaped, free of development. Be warned, once you set foot on the beaches of Vieques, you'll be spoiled for life. And oh, one more thing. In Vieques, you are destined to meet wild horses. They run around freely in groups, on the roads, on the beaches, and in residential areas. When planning your next vacation to Puerto Rico, don't forget to visit the central mountain region of Puerto Rico. The Cordillera Central rises to heights between 3,500 and 4,389 feet above sea level. It is a region of mountain lakes and forests, limestone caves and hills, and towns wrapped in greenery. Many consider the Central Mountains as the spiritual heart of the island. A lot of Puerto Rico's time-honored customs are still followed here, including Creole cooking. The cool climate all year round and the abundant rainfall have turned this region into an important agricultural center. If you're looking to relax in a quiet and serene place with spectacular waterfalls and deep wilderness, this is the place for you.
When you travel across the Ruta Panorámica, you will discover a part of Puerto Rico that only a few tourists get to see. The Ruta Panorámica is a chain of 40 mountain roads that take you 167 miles up the roof of Puerto Rico, from Yabucoa in the east to Mayagüez in the west. It is important to note that you'll need a good physical map if you're going to take this trip, as there are times that you may not have cell phone signal. If you take this trip, enjoy the adventure, but be careful and never drive after dark.
The Central Mountains include hidden villages and forgotten jungle, but the Ruta Panorámica also takes you past picturesque coffee plantations surrounding the village of Yayuya. Puerto Rico's legendary coffee plantations are a must-visit for caffeine junkies. In the remote Central Mountains, you can sip a steaming cup of rich, fresh coffee while looking out over the hills and valleys where the beans are grown, roasted, and brewed. The Toro Negro Forest is located in the south-central part of the island, and actually consists of a number of different forests, spread out in the Central Mountain Range. Altogether, it adds up to 6,945 acres of land. The area is often shrouded in mist and blanketed by dense jungle foliage. If you really want to get off the map, literally, this is the place. The Cerro Punta, at 4,389 feet, is the tallest point in the reserve and Puerto Rico's highest peak. You could almost drive to the top, following the Ruta Panorámica. The road to the peak, however, is narrow, unmarked, and fairly treacherous. It is therefore recommended to stop in a parking lot on the northern side of Highway 143 and take the last 1.5 miles by foot, soaking up the sights and sounds of the surrounding jungle. The southern region of Puerto Rico is hot and by far the driest of the island, with only 36 inches of rain a year. The largest city in this region is Ponce, which was Spain's capital until it fell to the US in 1989. The region has a lot to offer for tourists because of its urban and rural environments. It is rich in cultural and architectural heritage and is famous for its large mangroves, dry tropical forest, and the surreal glow of the bioluminescent waters of the Bahía de Fosforescente near Parguera.
Ponce is also called the Pearl of the South, and it's loved by the tourists for its museums, its architecture, and cultural events. The beautiful downtown Plaza de las Delicias is a worthwhile stop, and the Catedral Nuestra Señora is a must-see. Certainly cannot miss Parque de Bombas, a red and black wooden firehouse that was originally built in 1882 for an exposition. From 1883 to 1989, it served as the headquarters of the Ponce Fire Corps, and later on it reopened as a museum.
Museo de Arte de Ponce is considered one of the finest art museums in Puerto Rico. It is the largest art museum in the Caribbean. The Financial Times of London stated once that the museum holds one of the most distinguished private collections in the Western Hemisphere outside the United States.
If you want to see how the mountains meet the sea at Ponce, you should drive to the summit of Del Vigia Hill for a spectacular view. Visitors can climb the Virgin's Cross, La Cruz del Vigia, a 100-foot observation tower for a bird's-eye view. Built in 1984, the cross is a memorial to the Spanish garrison established atop of the hill to watch smuggler ships attempting to unload contraband.
If interested in architecture, you should visit Serralles Castle. It is located close to El Vigia Hill and is a lovely landscaped former residence of the most powerful rum-producing families, the Serralles family, producers of Don Q rum. The Serralles Castle is a magnificent example of Spanish Revival architecture, which was very popular in the 1920s. The West Coast has always been the most popular vacation destination for Puerto Ricans themselves, which of course means a lot. They call it Porta del Sol, and it is an exciting beach destination offering visitors adventure and relaxation in and around the water. If beaches are a priority while on vacation, Porta del Sol may be the best destination for you. The diversity in beaches is enormous, from world-class surfing beaches to calm swimming beach coves and crystal clear waters on offshore cays. This is the perfect place to stay if you like the ocean, water sports, and plenty of sunshine.
Rincon is known as the surfing capital on the island and one of the most outstanding places to catch a wave. Breaking anywhere between 2 feet and 25 feet, Rincon's waves are often close to perfect. If you are not a surfer yet, no worries. Rincon is also a great place to learn surfing. Soon, you'll be called a dude like surfers often address one another. Over the years, Rincon became a haven for draft dodgers, alternative lifestylers, back-to-the-landers, and people more interested in riding the perfect waves than bagging a big salary.
When you're in the Rincon, don't forget to visit the Rincon Lighthouse. The Punta Higuero Lighthouse was built by the Spaniards in the early 1890s and rebuilt after an earthquake in 1921. The lighthouse is still active and uses an unmanned 26,000 candle power rotating beacon. It offers you a setting where you can relax and have great views of surfers, the Seccheo Island, the sunset, and, in season, even whales. Maybe you're not into lighthouses, but the Los Murillos Lighthouse is another must-visit. It is located on top of 200-foot limestone cliffs, and from that spot you will have an unforgettable view of the Caribbean Sea. Situated at the southwestern tip of the island, this lighthouse was constructed in 1882 in order to guide passing ships from the Caribbean Sea through the treacherous Mona Passage into the Atlantic Ocean. Last but certainly not least, we take you to the northern coast of Puerto Rico, west from San Juan. all the way up to Porta Atlántico. You will find a rocky coastline with gorgeous ocean views, hilly karst country, green farmland with dozing cattle, sprawling resorts but also small hotels, and some of the best and most beautiful golf courses in the Caribbean. For instance, in the area of Manatí you will find these incredibly beautiful beaches. Manatí is a region of springs, lakes, streams, lagoons, rivers, and natural pool beaches. The most impressive one is without a doubt Mar Chiquita. Along the cliffs, an opening allows the waters of the Atlantic to rush in, creating thus a refreshing natural pool.
A legend says that the beach was formed after a beautiful Puerto Rico woman slipped and fell off the edge of the cliff. An earthquake tore the cliff in half. Miraculously, the current that began to flow between the rocks pulled her back to shore, saving her life. This is the story of Mar Chiquita, which remains today for everyone to enjoy.
Even if you're not very fond of caves, the Camuy River Cave Park is something else. It is one of the most impressive and most visited tourist attractions of Puerto Rico. This cave is the third largest underground cave system in the world. It even has a river running through it, the Rio Camuy. The main part of the cavern is massive, with a ceiling over 10 stories high. You can take a guided walk through the system after a trolley bus has brought you into a 200-foot deep cave. You will see the Rio Camuy rushing through, and the sun rays coming in will astonish you with so much splendor that a camera cannot capture it.
For a very long time, the Arecibo Observatory held the record of having the largest radio telescope in the world until 2016 when China finished construction of theirs. Still, Arecibo Observatory is a world-class attraction and both an intriguing and educational place for the entire family. Puerto Rico's location in the northern tropic allows for Arecibo to view the planets in the solar system over the northern half in their orbit. It is therefore the most powerful instrument of its kind in the world. Thank you for watching Island Guide. I hope the information I've shared with you today will help make your stay with us a true once-in-a-lifetime experience. If you want more information regarding something you've seen in the program, I welcome you to visit our website, islandguidetv.com. One last tip before I go. Don't forget to download our Island Guide app. ¡Hasta luego!